The Seattle Seahawks knock off the 9-3 Eagles after a 4-game losing streak. Absolutely electric stuff, trailing the whole game until they weren't. What happened, Levi? And what is your reaction as a diehard Seahawks fan to this massive win on Monday Night Football with a backup quarterback in Drew Lock?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. If you guys want to see a really, really hype reaction, you should check out the YouTube channel because I've got my full
I
reaction
got
to the
one too.
last drive. Okay, awesome. But my gosh, that was an awesome ending to a game that was so boring early on. You know what? Maybe I was wrong about Drew Lock. Maybe I was wrong about Drew Lock. I'm not going to say anything for certain, but that last drive was pretty darn fun.
That was fun.
And can we just say
Fair.
this, Drew?
The most of the game.
Jackson Smith and Jigma. Now he has how many game-winning catches this season? Oh, two, and it was only against the Browns and that defense and the Eagles. And not that their defense is great, but they were dominating us for most of the game. He has two of the biggest plays of the season. How about that for the rookie wide receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigma? He is legit. He's the real deal.
It's the real deal. And you see that finger, like the fingertips and gets 2 feet in plus the knee.
Yeah.
That's
And he
great.
was being held too. Do you see they were tugging his jersey?
Great throw by Drew Lock. To be fair, Drew Lock really did not do much. Going into that drive, he had under 120
Yeah.
passing yards. Half of those
Yeah.
were to Kenneth Walker on checkdowns. So listen, he managed the game well. He scored 13 points going into that final drive, but I honestly felt like they played better than that. They didn't turn over the ball at all, which is Drew Lock's big knock. There was a couple times he kind of put the ball into harm's way, but I didn't think there was any like really, really bad decisions that Drew Lock made tonight. To get off the Drew Lock conversation, Kenneth Walker. I mean, what a game. All around, he played phenomenal. I don't have the exact stats, but I believe he had over 120 all-purpose yards. You can get the exact stats, sleep, but he making guys miss all night long. He played really, really well. He was the thing that made our offense run the entire game. What did you see out of K9?
I saw a running back who was after about 4 or 5 weeks of not being healthy was finally healthy, and yeah, he rushed for 113 yards. And I said in the pregame, like that's what we need to do. We need to run the ball well, and we need to stop them from running the ball. Now we didn't do as good of a job stopping them. However, Kenneth Walker, he was the reason why we were in that game. Like, let's not
100%.
pretend like
100%.
that first touchdown, that was all K9. Like, he was the guy who drove us down there, and then he was the guy who scored. Also, the second field goal, I believe we didn't throw the ball a single play on that drive. It was, again, all on K9. So, yeah, he had a really good game. I love to see him bouncing back like this because we definitely needed him to bounce back, and he delivered tonight.
He played really well. Charbonnet and him have been kind of 1A, 1B for the last few weeks with him kind of having some struggling, not struggling, but he had a few lingering injuries. But I think this proved he is the number one back. He looked a lot more explosive than Charbonnet tonight. He had a different style of burst to him, made guys miss all night long, turned, the good running backs turn negative yardage plays into positive yards, and he did that all night long. The good running backs, they fall forward for an extra 3 or 4 yards once they get contacted. And that's what he was doing all night long. He played really, really well, not just running the ball, but also receiving the ball and yards after catch. He was really impressive. Another storyline, Levi, Woolen, Reek Woolen did not start. Instead, it was Michael Jackson and it was the former second-round pick, Trey Brown, who actually held their own quite well. Obviously, there was a few times Devontae Smith and AJ Brown got their own, but those are good wide receivers, very good wide receivers. And with a lack of safety play, Julian Love obviously did have 2 interceptions, but the safeties have been playing great. Not that much help over the top. They looked really, really good. What did you see out of those two guys? And was it the right move to bench Reek Woolen?
I'll say this. I don't think they were being challenged that much as far as the Eagles passing game is kind of non-existent, but maybe that's because they were just that good in coverage. I'm not really sure, but Jalen Hurts, he only threw for 143 yards today, so he was very much held in check. And you see, I mean, yeah, look, Tariq Woolen, he needed to, I think, maybe get a little bit of a mental reset. He's really, really been struggling this season with penalties. I think, he's one of the top players in the entire NFL as far as penalty yards lost for your team. So I think Pete was getting frustrated with that. And then also last game, he made a couple of critical errors that Pete kind of called him out for. Went on
He did.
7-10,
He
and he
did.
does not usually do this.
Him and Jamal
I've
Adams
not,
got burned on 7-10.
yeah, I don't usually hear the head coach talk that, I guess, down on his players, but he went on the radio and he did. And then, Rick Woolen, he did get into the game in the second quarter, and he did play quite a bit towards the middle of the game, but he was not starting. And I think I think it was the right call.
Yeah, I think it was also the right call for this week. In the future, I do think he's a more talented cornerback than at least Michael Jackson. Trey Brown,
Trey Brown's pretty good.
I've always thought Trey Brown's been
Yeah.
good. He got hurt after his rookie or during his rookie year, but he looked good in his rookie year. But when Devin Witherspoon comes back, our cornerbacks are not going to be the problem whatsoever. Another guy stood out today. Obviously, it's Julian Love. 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. A guy that you've kind of been hating on, especially at the start of the year where Jamal
Yeah.
Adams wasn't playing. You want to see what you saw? Were those interceptions lucky? Did he really have a good game? Or what did you see on the field by Julian Love? Because in my eyes, he played good. I didn't see anything
Yeah.
over the top. Was good in
Love
coverage.
played really well
2
today.
interceptions.
I think this is what you're looking at with Julian Love. It's a guy who he's not the greatest in pass coverage, but he is going to occasionally get these big play interceptions because if he does jump the read on the quarterback, he's able to go out there and cut off the pass and get that interception or get that big swat. And we did see him get 2 interceptions tonight. He's had, I think, 2 in the season leading up to this, so I think he has 4 now. He might lead the team in interceptions. With Jamal, you're getting similarly bad passing coverage, but Jamal isn't getting those interceptions. So I do actually think it's weird because you're right. I was hating on Julian Love early in the year, and he was pretty atrociously bad in the Rams game and the Lions game and a couple other games. But I think I would actually rather start him over Jamal right now, even if Jamal is healthy, just because Julian Love offers you the upside of, I might get burned three times in a game, but I'm also probably going to get a really good jump on the ball 1 or 2 times every single game and have the potential for a turnover. And ultimately, turnovers are very important. It's kind of like Trayvon Diggs down on the Dallas Cowboys last season. It was the same thing with him. He was getting burned more than any other cornerback, but he also was intercepting it more than any other cornerback. So it's kind of a trade-off there. But when the alternative is bad coverage and no interceptions, I would start Julian.
Yeah, I think definitely mixing them in would be cool to see because Jamal Adams obviously still has that.
Honestly, put Jamal at linebacker. Put Jamal at D end.
Yeah.
Put him at D end for all I care. I mean, let him rush the passer, but don't put him in coverage.
I agree.
There's no reason.
Let's look at some quick stats here. Really even game between the two teams. And it started out not being that way. First 8 minutes, the Eagles just walked down the field and scored. And I said, holy, going into 5 minutes left in the second quarter, it was 18 minutes to 5, or it was something ridiculous as far as time of possession. But the time of possession ends up still being in the Eagles' favor, 33 minutes to 27. That's closer, though, than I would have thought going into the second half. When you look at other stats between the two sides, again, pretty equal. 5 punts by both teams. The Seahawks had 35 yards in penalties. Eagles at 40. Again, pretty close there. Seahawks allowed 2 sacks. The Eagles did not allow any sacks, which, again, the pass rush has been a little bit of an issue for the Seahawks. We've known this for a while, and we didn't address it at the the trade deadline. We got Leonard Williams, an interior tackle, instead of a guy like Chase Young, who ended up going to the Niners for, I believe, less than a second-round pick. So that was an interesting call back then. And then another couple things, third down efficiency. Seahawks go for 6 for 14. Eagles go 9 for 16. and we did not attempt a fourth down play. What do you see as far as the third down efficiency from both teams, Levi? Because a few times the Seahawks converted on third and long. I believe they were 4 and 4 or something like that going to that final drive on 3rd and 10 plus.
Yeah, I mean that was really impressive to go 4 for 5 on 3rd and 10 plus. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Honestly, I hate to say it, I honestly think you chalk it up to just luck. And like for once the football gods are on our side. Like I feel like every game when we get into 3rd and long, it's like, oh, we're just gonna check down, we're just gonna do a little screen pass, hand it off. Today, on when it was 3rd and long, we actually threw the ball, which is not something that Pete
With
Carroll
Drew Lock,
usually
which is
like.
yeah.
Usually, if it's 3rd and 10, Pete Carroll is gonna just do a screen pass, and most likely it's gonna gain 4 yards. Then you punt. But I think today maybe it was an element of like we're desperate, we need this win, let's just go for it, push the ball downfield, and we did, and it worked. So we also benefited from a couple penalties, but those were there was no calls where I thought it was like that was like a huge like referees helping us. I thought it was like, yeah, there's a few times when the Eagles made pass interference and the refs got it right. I don't think there was anything.
Yeah.
And like the Cowboys game was different. The Cowboys, they helped us out a little bit. The Eagles, no, that was very fairly officiated game in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that was overall a pretty equally played game on both sides of the
Yeah.
field, according to the refs. Um, Very good game by the Seahawks. Where does this put the Seahawks, Levi, as far as now they're 7-7? Eagles are 10-4. The Seahawks now all of a sudden are in a pretty good spot to make the playoffs. Still, nothing is guaranteed, not even close. But when you look at the NFC standings, it's what, 4 or 5 teams that are all at 7-7 in the NFC. I can do a quick check on that, but it is a lot. So, what do you think
Yeah.
going forward, the Seahawks route? Can they win 2 out of 3 and still make it?
Well, I think if you win 2 out of 3, yes, you'll make it. You'll be 9-8. You win 2 of 3. Um, I don't think so. The Rams are 7-7, but they have to play the 49ers still. So that's probably going to be a loss. I mean, maybe they pull off the upset, but you look at that game and you think they'll probably lose that. Um, the Saints and the Buccaneers are both 7-7, but they have to play each other. So one of them is guaranteed to lose. And then the Vikings are also 7-7, but they play the Lions twice. So the chances that the Lions win out or that the Vikings win out are also very, very slim. So I think if we go 9-8, I think we make the playoffs 9-8. I really do.
I
If
agree.
we win out, if we win out, we're in for good.
Yeah, no. If we go 10-7, we're in. If we go 9-8, we're still probably in. Um,
I'll
but
say I
yeah,
think right now I'm leading Seahawks and Packers as the wild card. Packers are 6-8, but I think I like them to
I
win
don't know.
more
The
than the
Packers have
Seahawks.
not looked good the last
They've
week.
got I feel like they get the Panthers, Vikings, Bears. I think they could win out and maybe sneak in as the 7th seed, and Seattle grabs the 6th seed. I don't know. That's where I'm leading. Maybe the Rams. The Rams are the other one, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think Seahawks have a good chance.
Yeah, this was a really hyped game for sure. Let's say Drew Lock sputters out on that final drive. What would have you said coming into this post game, Levi? Just
Well,
be
I would have
honest.
just
Just be honest. I'm
if yeah,
curious.
yeah. If Drew Lock hadn't, if he spun it up, I mean, I would have said essentially, I would have said I didn't think we were going to win, and we weren't supposed to win, and we didn't win, but at least we played good, and Drew Lock isn't very good. And honestly, that's still kind of where I'm at on Drew Lock. I know I'm not allowed to say this. It's funny. The same people 2 months ago, I said Gino was bad, and all the same people were telling me, "Oh no, 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 Gino's great. Gino's amazing." Now those same people are like, "No, we should bench him for Drew Lock." Like, okay, guys, really, a month ago, you guys were telling me I was the idiot.
Yeah.
Now I say we should keep Gino, and suddenly I'm still the idiot. I guess I don't know. What I saw was we didn't really trust Drew very much to like throw the ball. Did a lot of handoffs.
Yeah.
But
No,
he
I
did
agree.
make
I don't.
he did make the plays when it counted. And I'll say this, that he had a lot of throwing it to DK when it was second and long, I believe, and he heaves it down the field to DK Metcalf with about 20 seconds left. Two guys in coverage. Geno Smith doesn't have the balls to make that throw. Geno Smith would have said, "Oh, he's double covered. I'm not going to throw it to DK," because that's what Geno does every time DK's double covered. DK can make those catches. Like I've been saying this all year. DK can make those catches.
That was a
Drew
great
Lock,
catch.
it was a great catch, and
True
Drew
wide
Lock had
receivers,
the
JSN
balls to
and
throw it.
DK make the plays when they needed to make them. Great catches, good
Yeah.
throws, great catches. Definitely Drew Lock got helped out by his receivers on those two throws there. This begs the question,
But
Levi,
then the other thing
do the
is
Seahawks win? Do the Seahawks win with Geno Smith starting this game?
with Geno. Oh, that's tough. Well, I think I'm gonna say yes. I think we do win with Geno. I think our defense played well enough and put us in a position, and Kenneth Walker as well, that I think with Geno, it's a similar score. We might have actually won by more with Geno. I don't know. I mean, the first half we only managed 3 points. So
you don't think Drew Lock was the X factor? I don't think so either.
no, I don't think he was X factor.
I think Drew Lock and Geno Smith both would have, I think Geno Smith, I don't know if he would have relied on this game-winning drive here. A couple of key plays, which I thought were pretty poorly done.
Here's what I think would have happened with Geno. I think we would have, instead of being down 17-13, I think we'd have had another field goal. So it would have been 17-16. And then I think that game-winning drive would have been a game-winning kick. So I think we win 19-17 with Geno.
Yeah, could definitely have happened. I was gonna say there's a couple of plays that sticks out to my head that the Seahawks offense definitely could have done a little bit better. 4th and 2, and that was kind of weird. There was what was that? It was a false start, I believe.
That was early in the game, right?
Yeah, and then there was another one where Pete Carroll challenged when Drew Lock.
Well,
He didn't challenge.
He called a timeout.
He called a timeout, which then backfired. It was not 4th and short, and it was kind of weird there for the Seahawks. But and then obviously Julian Love gets a pick, and then we immediately punt the ball back to the Eagles. That's when I thought the game was over. I mean, look, this game's over if the Seahawks don't get a stop against the Eagles on that last 3rd down.
Yeah.
And again, credit to our linebackers, safeties, and corners. Jalen Hurts had what? Maybe 10 seconds where he ran around, scrambled to the right, then reversed field, scrambled all the way to the left, threw a bullet down the sideline, and there was just no one open. It was a really well coverage play by the Seahawks, and we end up getting the ball back, and the rest is history. So a lot of things had to go right for the Seahawks, and they did. And that's that's what you got to go off of, and it's a good win. Levi, there's going around Twitter right now. Apparently a lot of Eagles fans are complaining that Julian Love's left foot didn't even touch the ground before.
Oh, it did. It did touch the ground. I saw the replay. It did. Also, okay.
And also the game was over. There's 6 seconds.
It hit the guy's knee. It hit Kobe Bryant's knee, but it also they zoomed in on it on the replay, and you could clearly see his toe hit the ground. So that's just not true.
And there were 6 seconds left, even if that isn't a pick. That game's pretty much over. So yeah. I mean, this puts the Seahawks at a pretty good spot, Levi, for sure.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I mean, do you got any? I mean, I guess one more thing we could touch on. DK Metcalf had 1 reception until the last drive, I believe, and then he had 4. So DK, like, when he gets going, he gets going. You saw it a few weeks ago.
Well, it's like what Peyton Manning said. Did you hear Peyton Manning in the halftime?
He said throw the ball to DK.
Throw the ball to DK. That was his one comment. Okay.
It's like, how do you want to do that? I don't know. Just throw it to DK. No, but it's true. Even if he's double covered, he's literally faster, stronger, bigger, can jump higher than every other player on the football field. And at some point, if the offense isn't getting going, what's the downside? If you need a play and you're not worried about a pick because if you don't convert, game's over, throw it up. And DK
let him make the play, and he did.
The grab twice. He made one that bobbled off of the cornerback's back, and then DK got a catch, and then obviously the double covered, which I thought could have been zipped in a little bit faster from Drew Lock. And I know it's a little bit complaining, but he was open for he was open for a little bit there, and then the window rapidly
Yeah.
started to close while the ball approached. But DK just, a lot of receivers kind of wait for the ball to come at them, and then it's batted away or something. DK went and got that ball. So that was a difference maker for sure. Yeah. So just our stars making plays. DK, JSN, Julian Love, all the stars of the games. But yeah, it was a great win for the
Yeah.
Seahawks. And it's redeeming knowing there's still a season to root for, I guess. Like, we're not like,
Yeah.
listen, I told you, Levi, I said at the start of the gauntlet, I said we need to win one of the 4 games, just 1 of 4 against Dallas, 2 against the Niners, and 1 against the Eagles. And I said if we come out of this with 1 win, there's still a pretty good shot that we make the playoffs. And hey, kind of unconventional. We waited till the last one in this gauntlet to win. We got the win, and this could be the biggest one because now you're riding momentum going to the last 3 games. Let's say they win 3 straight. Now you're 10-7. You probably have the highest wild card you could get, and you've just won
Yeah.
4 straight games, and you played the NFC South. So things could be worse. I mean, they really could.
Well, with 10-7, you're gonna have the 6.
You don't.
Yeah, because the Eagles and the Cowboys are tied at 10.
Good point. Good point.
So,
Good point. So
but so in that case,
play.
we go to Detroit, which we beat them in Detroit.
That's not bad either.
It's anything's possible.
The difference between the
Anything's
6 and the 7 is massive.
Yeah, the 7 seed has to go to San Francisco and or Dallas or Philadelphia. Whoever gets the 7 seed is kind of screwed. But so that's why, I mean, again, like if you're gonna make the
Detroit's
playoffs,
been
you might as well
beatable
win
all
out.
year long. Detroit's been beatable. They look really
Yeah.
good and they don't look good. We've matched up well against them.
Yeah.
We're looking into the future a lot, but yeah.
You know what? There's hope. So I guess we'll tune in next week for a little. Maybe we'll have a little debate. Who should it be at quarterback next week? Drew Lock or Geno? I'm not exactly sure. I haven't made up my mind actually yet. But I'm still leaning Geno. Okay, well maybe we'll just have a discussion, not a debate. But and tune in next week for the pregame show. We play the Titans next Sunday. It's going to be a huge game. Is it on Sunday? Is it Christmas Eve or is it?
I thought it was.
I'm not sure. Sunday, yeah, Sunday is Christmas Eve. I just had to did a little double take on my calendar there. So I'm not sure. Do we play on Christmas Eve? Am I gonna get to spend Christmas Eve watching the Seahawks demolish the Ryan Tannehill / Will Levis / who knows Titans?
We played Thanksgiving. We played another Thursday night. We played a Monday night. We played a Christmas Eve. We're checking off all the boxes this year for sure.
Now, do we know what time it is? I guess we'll check that later on.
It's midday. I think it's
midday.
Like
Awesome. Right when we're doing the presents. All right. Well, I know what the best present will be on Christmas Eve is if Geno / Drew / whoever it is gets a win against the Tennessee Titans, who, the Titans, not very good. They're 6-9, but they have had our number in recent years. So I wouldn't take this game for granted,
Not at all. All right, that'll do it, guys. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, why did you not like it already? So if you had that would really help us out. Subscribe down below to the channel. We're trying to get to 550 by the end of 2023. I think that's very doable. That help us out a lot. We have a lot of content for you to watch. Actually, we have a buy, seller, hold coming out. We have a Mariners talk coming out. We have 2 reactions to the Seahawks game, a preview to the Seahawks game. So lots of stuff to watch. If you're bored, if you want something without ads to watch, listen on a car ride, tune into the NW Sportscast. And I think that's all we got. As always, Levi,